Entertainment this week is brought to you by Village Theaters. Village brings you the hits.
Hello, everybody. The new television season is off and running, and for the first time in years, it may prove to be a true three-way race. Wall Street financial analysts believe audience shares could shift dramatically in weeks to come, and they predict NBC may make a strong bid to win viewers away from ABC and CBS. Already, NBC's new series, We Got It Made, has premiered to big Nielsen numbers. The first episode finished second last week out of 61 shows ranked. Lottery, a new ABC show, also did well, coming in 14th.
New faces on the country's TV screens share the limelight with some established series stars. Here's a look at a busy week.
3, 2, 1, and solid motor ignition and liftoff.
The 8 space shuttle flights since 1981 have boosted NASA and the space program to new heights of popularity. This Monday, show business gives NASA an additional primetime shot as NBC airs Bob Hope's salute to NASA's 25th anniversary. To help in the celebration, 3 astronauts came to Hollywood to share center stage with Hope. Alan Shepard, America's first man in space, 2-time shuttle astronaut Robert Crippen, and the first black astronaut, Guyon Bluford, Jr.
They work pretty good, you know. All you have to do is deliver them to them, and if you give funny lines, they come up with the laughs.
A good deal more comfortable at getting laughs than the astronauts, the original Laugh-In cast members, many of whom reunited for a party to announce that 30-minute re-edited versions of the classic Hours series go into syndication this fall.
It's Sock It To Me time!
From 1967 to 1973, Laugh-In socked it to the American TV audience with a galaxy of personalities, stars-to-be, and surprise guests.
Sock It To Me?
With 130 episodes sitting on the shelf for 10 years, why did it take so long to get Laugh-In into syndication?
It's a very expensive show to bring back because of the amount of writers and the size of the cast and cameos and guest stars. And only now really could syndication afford to do that, were there enough stations.
A show that's already thriving in syndication while it also continues in prime time has reason to celebrate. ABC's Happy Days was given a gala party by Milwaukee, the setting for the show. Stars of the series flew in for 2 days of events.
I'm very happy to be here in Milwaukee because you have given us a great life for 11 years. It's been fun to live in your city.
The A-Team was not to be outdone this week. The high-flying, hard-shooting NBC characters got together off-screen for a party to introduce a line of A-Team dolls. Who could argue with Mr. T's endorsement?
How they like me, they tough, they durable, and they peace-loving.
One of television's remaining all-male bastions is the anchor desk on the network evening news broadcasts. Barbara Hauer has a special report on when the era might end.
Anchor women are visible morning and noon, but not at night, leading one to wonder why there are no female Rathers, Jennings, or Brokaws.
My answer to that would be because there hasn't been one good enough till now. Even though they are seeing women succeed as reporters, as interviewers, and as sometime anchors, they are still reluctant to take what they perceive to be a risky step.
It's taken a long time for the television industry itself to open its doors to women, and I think it takes an even longer time for viewers to accept women as equals.
I'm part of the American audience, and no, I wouldn't listen to news from women if it's some bubble-headed idiot up there who can't put 2 words together. But there are a lot of competent women around now, and I think that they're proving right and left that people will listen.
When Barbara Walters co-anchored the ABC Nightly News, it was a famous first for women in broadcasting. Walters held the spotlight only for a short time. Since then, the women at night have been mostly reporters, heard more often than seen. A curiosity, considering that many female journalists have credentials as solid as those of their male counterparts.
It's been a male bastion at the network level for so many years that it's difficult for all of these management people to sort of change their way of thinking.
If you have to fault someone for hiring someone whose qualifications are, well, I was runner-up Miss America, or I was Miss America, or I was Miss Asparagus, then that's where the fault lies. The idea that, well, as long as you're pretty, honey, and you dress right, we can teach you journalism in about 10 minutes.
The Christine Craft court decision in Kansas City posed more questions than it answered. While the case centered on a local television station's hiring and firing practices, the real issues were age and appearance, and whether a woman's place is behind the anchor desk.
It probably will help women in the long run, and it will help us shift ourselves away from cosmetics and to the serious business of doing the news. But it's just not going to change attitudes like that.
Women's issues and equality have been in the forefront for 15, 20 years now. And they evidently have been watching to the degree that they have put women on the air and made them visible. But they haven't been paying attention because evidently they haven't been taking them seriously.
For a medium that prides itself on keeping up with the times, the double standard for men and women still prevails in the network newsrooms.
I'd like to see more women in management, because I think if we have more women who are making decisions, who are hiring and promoting and deciding who's going to be doing what, then I think the chances for other women, for younger women coming along, are going to be more fair.
We have had a condition for a long time where you saw women on the air, but you didn't see women producing the shows, and you certainly didn't see them in the executive offices.
Women are comparatively new to the television news industry, but they are deeply entrenched. Just exactly when the deadline might be for one of them to command a network newscast is debatable, even among the experts.
I think in the next 2-3 years you will see a woman on the evening news.
5 years. Check me out. 5 years.
5 years, maybe 7, 8 years. I don't believe it's going to happen this year.
I don't believe I'll necessarily see it in our lifetime, truly.
Ahead on Entertainment This Week, Lana Turner defends a tumultuous life.
Jane Doe could have done the very same thing, and who would have cared? But mine was always blown out of proportion.
Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., after 18 years in show business, are still together living the good life in their home in Beverly Hills. And Tony Randall explains the magic of Hollywood's Chateau Marmont Hotel.
The rumor was that the chateau was owned by Greta Garbo. So far as I know, there was never a word of truth in it. But everyone believed it, and I believed it. And it just somehow gave it a cachet. Greta Garbo owns this place.
All this and much more just ahead on Entertainment This Week.
Tuesday on Prisoner, the freak teams up with the Snake Lady to brew up a new money spinner.
The liquor trade.
Yeah, I like it. And I know just the person we can bring in on this deal.
I don't know what your little game is, but no one deals with the freak.
A situation which doesn't please Queen Bee.
All she wants is to be put out of her misery. Do I have the right to deny her that?
Will Judy stand up to the pressure, or will it be back behind bars for murder? Prisoner, Tuesday, 8:30 on 10.
Hi, I'm Michael Keaton. This is for you guys. Ever wish you didn't have to go to work? Want to stay home and enjoy the good life? Yeah? Watch this.
Kenny, don't paint your sister. Let me show you how to be the one thing you never expected. A mother. Missed your mom.
Village brings you the hits.
I have been asked by the GIO to put an offer to you which I think is excellent. If your car is not insured with the GIO, just call them between now and October 30th and register with them. By doing so, the GIO will guarantee your next 12 months insurance at their November 82 premium rates. Now, and I stress this, you're under no obligation to take up this offer when the time comes and your premium falls due. But because you've registered with the GIO, you've guaranteed yourself against a possible rise in premiums. That's it. Simple, neat, and guaranteed by the GIO. See your nearest GIO office or call 268 3000. Naturally, existing GIO customers automatically receive this benefit.
Now, Sheen make high-precision videotapes. Great picture, great color. Insist on Sheen high-precision videotape.
There's affection, too much friction, yeah.
There was a drama on stage and off at the opening of the San Francisco opera season. Tenor Placido Domingo literally flew to the rescue, and Marilee Beck was there.
The opening of the opera is the grandest event in San Francisco's social scene, and this year's opening had all of the drama of a Hollywood movie.
Super tenor Placido Domingo made a super save with a last-minute transcontinental flight to sing Otello. The star, who was in New York rehearsing for another opera, received a desperate call from San Francisco. Their star had lost his voice, so Domingo hopped a private jet to save opening night.
How do you feel about being this late? Well, I don't know how the public feels.
The heroics were grand. A fast Jaguar with police escort sped Domingo from the airport, and the stage manager brought the sketches and score for Domingo to study on the ride in. And the role isn't easy. Only 5 singers in the world are capable of stepping in last minute. Lucky for San Francisco, this superstar was willing.
Domingo's race to the rescue didn't quite time out right. The curtain, which was to have gone up at 7, was changed to 9 and finally rose at 10:30. As for Domingo's performance, the reviews in the audience were approving. Dixie?
Well, more than 30 years ago, the curtain went up on a new musical starring the late Gertrude Lawrence. Billed below the title, a relatively unknown actor named Yul Brynner. Brynner went on to make the show uniquely his own. This week in Los Angeles, he marked a milestone. Dale Haramoto reports.
High above Los Angeles, a congratulatory message fit for a king.
Shall we dance? Shall we dance?
The king being Yul Brynner, who is celebrating his 4,000th appearance in the role that he made famous in The King and I. A lavish party was thrown in his honor by the widows of the creators of that show, Mrs. Richard Rogers and Mrs. Oscar Hammerstein. Brynner first stepped on stage as the King of Siam 32 years ago and is starring in the current revival in Los Angeles.
You know, I keep coming to the theater hoping to find something new with every performance, and every day I do my best for one more day. And every day I do find other values, other levels, and other treasures in it.
The guests included many co-stars from The King and I over the years. Actress Mary Martin originally recommended Brynner for the role.
He was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life, and he could move like an angel.
For the others, there was no argument that Brynner was suited for the part.
He is the king. He is so sexy.
I just couldn't imagine anybody in the role besides Yul.
I think Yul thinks he's a king, in the best sense.
Brynner concedes he was most fortunate.
I had a most beautiful play to do with a golden role and deathless music that was given to me. And what else could, can you ask for in life?
Dale Haramoto, Entertainment This Week.
Here are some stories from the Stage Wire. Former pro football star Joe Namath, who makes his Broadway debut next week in a revival of the Caine Mutiny court-martial, has pleaded innocent to a Los Angeles drunk driving charge. Actress Farrah Fawcett, who fractured her wrist during a performance in the off-Broadway play Extremities, has been ordered by her doctor to leave the show until mid-October. And Elizabeth Taylor, whose health forced cancellation of Private Lives in New York, moved the show to Chicago this week and promptly came down with a vocal cord infection. 4 performances were canceled before Taylor made it back on stage. Taylor also got some other bad news. The play she is co-producing on Broadway, The Corn is Green, is closing this weekend. Barbara Hauer spoke with Cicely Tyson, the star of the play, a few days before the closing notice went up.
Don't ask Cicely Tyson if she's miscast in The Corn is Green, playing an English schoolmarm opposite an all-white cast. She won't hear of it. Taking risks is as much a part of her nature as being an actress. When she jumps into one end of a pool, she expects the water to be deep.
These nippers are to be cut off from all that, whatever are they?
Despite the criticism, it was an opportunity to make a very strong statement. It will make it possible for another black actress to come along and play a role that's not, where the color is not indigenous to the piece. Do you understand? And get the opportunity to play that role. That's what's important.
Breaking barriers is not a novelty for Tyson. In Sounder, she brought a new dignity to the portrayal of a black woman on screen, despite the trend of black exploitation films. It won her the respect of her industry and an Oscar nomination as Best Actress. After that, she won 2 Emmy Awards for her performance as Miss Jane Pittman. But despite her considerable talent, she is one of many black actresses who have a hard time finding work.
We are not in the mainstream, so that we are not considered for roles when they come up simply because we are actresses who are competent enough to do the job. We are black actresses, and so we first have to wait for a role to be written for a woman, okay? Then we have to wait for a role to be written for a black woman, which are 2 strikes against us. And that's why we don't work.
Many people would be angry. You don't seem to be.
It's a waste of energy for me. It's much better for me to do what I'm doing now, despite the obstacles. I'm a fighter. I was born a fighter. I will die a fighter. And I will fight all obstacles and probably die trying. But it's not going to stop me.
You have come as far as you have come, which is formidable, on your instincts. How do you listen to them? What do they tell you?
Well, 1 or 2 things happen to me. Either my skin tingles or my stomach churns. And when my stomach churns, I know it's not right. When my skin tingles, I'm sure it's right.
In retrospect, thinking of yourself playing Miss Moffat, should your skin have tingled or your stomach churned?
Tingled, and it's still tingling. And it will tingle as long as I perform the role.
Coming up next, Jennifer Beals, from Flashdance to her own clothing line.
And Hollywood's most unusual and very popular hotel.
Michael Todd's Around the World in 80 Days. Getting there is all the fun. Take her along. Take everybody along. Every seat is first class, and we've got enough seats for everybody. Michael Todd's Around the World in 80 Days.
Join David Niven in the classic Around the World in 80 Days, now showing Village Cinema City.
Every now and then, something different comes along that's so exciting it makes you want to... Introducing the new Pulsar Exa Turbo. With turbo efficiency, turbo economy, turbo performance. Pulsar Exa Turbo at around $12,000 plus on-road costs. It's going to go mighty quick from your Nissan dealer now.
Now, Sheen make high-precision videotapes. Great picture, great colour. Insist on Sheen high-precision videotape.
Yes, he's won it. Go, Dick. Yes, he's won it. What a great effort.
Hi, I'm Rob De Castella, and I'd like to encourage everyone to enter the Toyota Olympic 10-kilometre fund run on Sunday, October 30. All entrants will receive a special Olympic fun run T-shirt, and all finishers a special certificate. Everyone will have an opportunity to win a fabulous Toyota Corona CS wagon. Most importantly, your entry fee will contribute towards sending our Australian Olympic team to compete in the Los Angeles Olympic Games. Entry forms are available from your local Toyota dealer.
This has been a community service announcement.
Johnny Carson will be back next April as host of the Oscar telecast on ABC. Along with his regular duties on The Tonight Show, Carson also owns a TV production company. Well, this past week, he personally announced its latest project. Alan Arthur reports.
Their names are Lonnie Anderson and Linda Carter. And Carson's company has paired them for a 1-hour NBC series set to be shot in San Francisco. The show hasn't been titled, but you can tell us something of the storyline?
It's kind of like, if you remember the charm of the Thin Man series of movies with William Powell and Myrna Loy, only 2 women this time. And we both are the ex-wives of a deceased detective.
I have never really worked with a woman before, and for me, she is a very, very talented performer. We get along just great. It's a tough life he has.
Johnny, tell me about your input into Carson Productions, story ideas and so forth. Do you get involved in that aspect of it?
About as much as a dance director at Forest Lawn.
With 3 unsuccessful series like Cassie and Company, Lewis and Clark, and Teachers Only, Carson Productions is banking on the team of Anderson and Carter to improve that record. But if the series fails, Carson already has plans for a replacement.
It's a middle-aged man who's separated, who lives in Malibu, and hires 2 private nurses to care for him. And it's
Can we guess who this is going to be?
It's going to be called Linda, Lonnie, and Johnny. We haven't discussed this yet, but just in case.
Alan Arthur, Entertainment This Week.
Some notes from our celebrity file. First, the big news that Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog are headed for a Muppet-style marriage. The happy couple is set to tie the knot in their next film, Muppets of Manhattan. Singer Eddie Fisher is on the bandwagon, becoming the latest to record songs from the Broadway hit La Cage aux Folles. In fact, he's tracked 2 tunes, I Am What I Am and The Best of Times. And Ginger Rogers has picked young Lisa Donovan to play the Rogers life story when and if a movie is ever made. Ginger Rogers helped set the styles of the 30s when she appeared with Fred Astaire. And now the styles of the 80s are set by celebrities like Jennifer Beals, star of the summer hit Flashdance. Beals is taking advantage of her newfound fame and promoting a line of clothing at a New York department store. Barbara Hauer has that story.
What do you do when you're 19, a Yale sophomore, and the star of the blockbuster film Flashdance? Well, if you're smart and you don't want to be a financial flash in the pan, you sign on as the celebrity behind the fashion label of Marie-Thé and Francois Gerbeau.
Flashdance certainly helps, but it also helps that part of the image is the college image, which especially probably in the United States and in other countries as well is very important.
Does it surprise you that you've achieved considerable popularity for a movie about dancing in which you do not do the dancing, and for endorsing a line of clothes in which you had no hand in creating?
It doesn't surprise me that they'd want me to represent clothes that I didn't design, because if I could design clothes, they would look like this. I mean, they'd be very comfortable and just would feel good to wear, you know. With the movie, it doesn't surprise me because, you know, film is illusion anyway.
Since her fame is derived from, you know, dancing, which is, you know, and promoting more comfortable clothes in that way, I suppose these would be the kind of clothes she'd be promoting.
I can see her in these kind of clothes, sure. Yeah, and I think she's probably a good person to use to advertise this line. I think she appeals to the young woman who's on her way up that has a sense of fashion.
Most teenagers are uncertain about the future. Not many can answer the question, who's in charge of your life?
I guess I am, and my agent is, and certainly my mother is. They propose things to me, and I say whether or not I think it's a good idea.
Does having a hit movie and endorsing a line of clothes mean that you're on easy street?
It's not like I've become Randolph Hearst's granddaughter or something like that.
Barbara Hauer, Entertainment This Week.
Now it can be told. I don't know if I ever told you that Jennifer Beals, back when we lived in Chicago, not that long ago, was my son's babysitter.
You're kidding. Little-known facts from the Edwards file here.
A little-known fact about a Hollywood hotel that is known mostly to the stars, and Catherine Mann has that story.
When you come to Los Angeles, status points are conferred not only by what you drive and where you eat, but also where you stay. The Beverly Hills Hotel is the most obvious status choice. Roger Moore, Faye Dunaway, and Liza Minnelli rarely stay anywhere else. And some movie moguls like Marvin Davis keep permanent bungalows costing anywhere from $250 to $400 a day. The Beverly Wilshire Hotel courts kings and princes, plus such Hollywood royalty as Lauren Bacall, Al Pacino, and Meryl Streep. Hollywood Prince Warren Beatty lived in the penthouse suite for 10 years. The Bel Air Hotel is more secluded. It's the executive suite for East Coast network and studio heads who don't want to be seen, but want to be heard. Then there's the Chateau Marmont, a 62-room Norman castle built into a hill directly above the hustle of the Sunset Strip. The chateau is not very fancy. Its decor has been described as early Salvation Army or shabby genteel. There's no restaurant, no cocktail lounge, and only minimal room service. But Diane Keaton, Richard Gere, and Robert De Niro wouldn't think of staying anywhere else. De Niro recently rented this $200 a day penthouse for close to 2 years. Boris Karloff came for a 3-week visit and stayed 7 years. And Carol Lindley has lived at the chateau on and off since she was 14 years old.
It was basically a place for Europeans, people from New York, and eccentrics. And they had bought all of their breakfast service stuff in a fire sale, and so that when you poured the coffee, the top always came off, you know. There was all the things that were wrong with it, which is what made everybody liked it, because it really wasn't glossy and it was homier.
The chateau isn't plastic or phony. The hotel's old world charm and its quirks attract the artistic personality, and certain actors come back again and again.
My own situation is perhaps different from the ordinary travelers. When I'm away from home, at least in Hollywood, it's sometimes for as long as 6 or 8 months at a time. My wife and I have never had a house out there. We've always stayed at a hotel. So the hotel must be a place that can be a home.
Tony Randall called this bungalow home for most of the 5 years of The Odd Couple, the 2 years of the Tony Randall Show, then on and off again while filming Love, Sidney.
The rumor was that the chateau was owned by Greta Garbo. And that rumor was everywhere. Greta Garbo owns the Chateau Marmont. So far as I know, there was never a word of truth in it. But everyone believed it, and I believed it. And it just somehow gave it a cachet. Greta Garbo owns this place.
Garbo doesn't own it, but she has stayed here. So have Clark Gable, Howard Hughes, Jean Harlow, Marilyn Monroe, and Humphrey Bogart.
Back in the 50s, the Chateau Marmont was the only place to stay when you were out from New York. We were doing a film in Hollywood. People like Geraldine Page, Joe Van Fleet, James Dean, Anna Magnani.